Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is where we take a piece of everyday life, maybe something that seems pretty ordinary, and we really dig into it.
Yeah, we put it under the microscope, basically. And
Yeah.
today we've got this great source document. It's a transcript, a detailed one, of just a normal chat between two people, Emily and Paul.
Right. The kind of conversation you might overhear, at the coffee machine or something. Doesn't seem like much on the surface.
Exactly. But when you zoom in, it's kind of amazing. It tells you so much about how people cope with pressure, work stress, planning, even planning for happy things. It's a real roadmap.
That's our mission today, isn't it?
Yeah.
To unpack this conversation, this slice of life, you could say. We want to figure out the sort of emotional physics involved. You've got Emily, who's feeling very, very happy. She's got her favorite coffee, some good news. She's really buzzing.
Yeah, she's definitely on an upswing.
And then there's Paul. He's explicitly a little tired. He's caught up in work stress, deadlines, that whole gravitational pull.
And that contrast is just, it's right there from the start. It tells you a lot. Emily's in this state of, flow, excitement. Paul, he's clearly in crisis mode, or maybe pre-crisis mode.
So what we're going to do is look at how Paul tries to fix his work situation. He kind of uses social engineering. Is that too strong a word?
Maybe a little, but it fits. He's definitely trying to manage the people to manage the problem. And then we'll look at Emily dealing with the logistics of a happy event, but logistics nonetheless.
Right, because planning joy can be complicated too. Ultimately, we're hunting for those hidden rules, the rules of communication that help with conflict and help you plan for fun.
Okay, so where do we start? Paul's fatigue seems like the obvious entry point.
Let's do it. Section 1, the anatomy of professional pressure. So Paul says he's a little tired, but it's only Tuesday afternoon. That feels significant. It's not Friday afternoon tired.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Tuesday afternoon fatigue needs a reason, and the source gives it to us straight away. It's the classic meeting hangover.
Ah, yes. The meeting hangover. We've all been there.
Absolutely. His Monday wasn't just a normal Monday. It was dominated by this huge meeting.
Yeah.
3 hours long.
Oof. 3 hours.
Yeah, and not just him and the boss. The whole team, plus the boss, Mr. Henderson.
Okay, let's just pause on that. 3 hours in what, an 8-hour workday? That's nearly half the day gone just talking.
It's a massive commitment of synchronous time. Everyone there, everyone tuned in, supposedly. But the real cost isn't just the 3 hours in the meeting.
Right, it's the knock-on effect, isn't it?
Exactly. It compresses everything else, the actual doing part of the job. That gets squeezed into the remaining time. So whatever work, whatever stress was maybe planned for Monday and Tuesday,
Right.
now it's all piled onto Tuesday afternoon.
Which leads straight to that feeling of being behind, of being tired before you've even really got stuck in. It guarantees fatigue.
And it accelerates the pressure for whatever comes next, which in this case is the big stressor.
Yeah.
This very big report.
Ah, the report. And this is where it gets personal for Paul, right? It's not just any report.
No, it's all about numbers. The transcript says, math, adding, subtracting, analysis. And Paul, he flat out says, I don't like numbers. He's a words person.
That detail feels crucial. It's not just deadline stress anymore. It's deadline stress combined with, well, doing something you actively dislike and maybe aren't great at.
Precisely. The cognitive load is way higher when you're forcing yourself to work against your natural grain. He even admits, I am very bad at math. He finds it boring.
So it's not just, oh, I have to work hard. It's, I have to work hard on something I find tedious and difficult. That's a recipe for mental exhaustion right there.
It really is. And then you layer on the timeline.
Yeah, the timeline. This chat is happening Tuesday afternoon. Reports due Friday.
That's tight, really tight. Basically 72 hours, maybe less, depending on when they finish Tuesday. And it includes Wednesday and Thursday, which you just know are going to be high pressure days.
Especially for a task that needs deep concentration on numbers, the very thing Paul's trying to avoid.
And it's not just Paul feeling it. The source says the entire team is stressed. But the boss, Mr. Henderson, he seems a bit removed from it all.
Oh, so.
Well, Paul describes him as okay and just busy, but the key phrase is he doesn't see the problem.
Ah, that disconnect. The classic executive view versus the reality on the ground.
Totally. The boss just needs the output. His line is basically, I need the report on Friday. Full stop. He's focused on the what, not the how, and definitely not the who is struggling.
And that lack of visibility, that lack of seeing the human side, the friction, the fatigue, that's what sets the stage for Paul having to step up, doesn't it?
It forces his hand, really. He has to become the unofficial diplomat, the team therapist almost, because he realizes the biggest block to getting that report done by Friday isn't actually the math itself.
It's the people doing the math.
Yeah, it's the team dynamic breaking down under the pressure of the math, the dislike for the numbers, the boredom. It just makes the interpersonal stuff worse.
So, okay, we have this high-pressure task, short deadline, complex content nobody really likes, and a boss who only sees the finish line. Sounds like a perfect storm for, well, for friction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is our next stop. The immediate fallout from this pressure cooker, friction and intervention in the workplace.
Right. Because the stress didn't just affect Paul individually, it hit the team. Specifically, the collaboration between two colleagues, Tom and Sarah.
Yes, they're the ones who have to work closely together on this numbers report, and apparently their dynamic just collapsed.
And the source gives us such a clear picture of why. It paints them as almost polar opposites.
It really does. You've got Tom. He's described as tall, very funny, and crucially, someone who talks a lot. The summary is just Tom talks.
Okay, so maybe the office socialite. Potentially a bit distracting.
Potentially. And then you have Sarah. She's new to the team. Very nice, very quiet, and very focused. Her summary. Sarah works.
Wow. Talk about a mismatch for a high-pressure, detailed task. You've got the chatty extrovert and the quiet heads-down worker.
It's a classic recipe for conflict, especially when you add stress. The extroverted energy crashes right into the focused intensity needed for, wading through boring numbers.
And Paul saw the fallout directly. He noticed Sarah looked very down the day before, and she actually verbalized it.
She did. She told Paul simply, Tom is difficult.
Oof. That's concise and powerful.
It is. 3 words, but they tell you everything. It's not just mild annoyance. It sounds like she felt genuinely blocked or maybe even personally stressed by his style. Communication breakdown.
And this breakdown had real consequences for the work itself. Paul saw it as causing problems he called the worst. So the social issue became the work issue.
Absolutely. The interpersonal friction was actively hurting the report's progress.
And what's really interesting is how Paul diagnosed this. He didn't just hear Sarah's complaint. He observed a change in the whole office environment.
Yes, he noticed the sound of the office changed. Usually it's friendly, people chat, but it became very quiet, too quiet.
The silence was the alarm bell. That's fascinating.
It is, isn't it? Because those little routines, the casual chats, the grabbing coffee together, eating lunch, not necessarily together, but, around each other, they matter. They diffuse tension.
They build the social fabric that lets you get through the tough stuff.
Exactly. And when that fabric tires, when the routine breaks down, it's a big red flag. Paul saw Tom eating at his desk, Sarah eating at hers.
And Paul ate alone, too, right? Observing this quiet disintegration.
He did. And he had this realization, which he voices, work is much, much better with friends. He saw that the immediate problem wasn't the numbers, it was the breakdown in connection. Fixing the friendship was step 1 to fixing the report.
The numbers were almost secondary at that point. He needed to fix the team vibe first.
Precisely. That observation, that symptom of the too quiet office, it validates his whole approach. He knew telling them to just get along or be professional wouldn't cut it.
No, that never works. You have to address the feeling underneath.
Which leads us right to Paul's strategy.
Yeah.
His unofficial leadership move, the coffee cookie plan.
I love this plan. It's so simple, but feels quite insightful.
It's brilliant because it sidesteps the actual conflict. He's not trying to mediate the argument about the report. He's trying to inject some happiness, some goodwill to get them talking again.
Using pleasure as a social lubricant, basically.
That's a great way to put it. And look at the detail he puts into it. This isn't just a whim.
No, it's planned. The timing, for instance. 10 a.m.
Right. Not lunchtime, not afternoon slump time. It's mid-morning, kind of a reset moment before the day gets too heavy, maybe before frustrations build up again.
Smart. And the tools are specific, too. Coffee for Sarah, coffee for Tom.
And big chocolate cookies for everyone. That everyone is key. It makes it a team thing, not just about Tom and Sarah, and he knows exactly where to get them.
The coffee stop on the corner with the big green sign. The specificity tells you he's actually thought this through. It's a deliberate act of, well, kindness and strategy.
It really is. And Emily gets it immediately. She calls it very kind, and then she adds that little gem. People are always happy with cookies.
Huh. It's true, though. It's hard to stay mad when someone gives you an unexpected cookie. It lowers your defenses.
That's Paul's goal, isn't it? He explicitly says he wants to make people happy. And the crucial part, get them to talk.
He thinks if they start talking again, just normally, about anything, the work rift will sort of heal itself.
Yeah, that seems to be the theory. Restore the social connection, create a happy office, and the productivity, the report completion will follow naturally. He's treating the team like a social ecosystem that needs tending.
It's fascinating. Paul, the guy who says he's bad at math and finds numbers boring, is using these really nuanced soft skills, diplomacy, empathy, social observation to solve the problem caused by the numbers.
He's doing the real management work here, even if Mr. Henderson up top only sees the spreadsheet. He's managing the humans so the technical work can happen.
It really shows how much productivity depends on just people feeling okay with each other, not just having the right skills.
Absolutely. Interpersonal comfort is huge. Okay, so we've thoroughly dissected the workplace stress. Shall we switch gears?
Let's do it. Let's move away from Paul's required stress, the mandatory kind, and look at Emily's situation. It's stressful too, but in a different way. Section 3, the logistics of happiness, planning a wedding look.
Yeah, this is what you might call positive stress. But the logistics involved are still pretty intense. Emily's best friend, Maria, is getting married to Leo, who's a doctor.
And the first logistical challenge is the timeline, right? It's happening next month.
Super fast. A short timeline like that automatically cranks up the pressure on all the planning, even for guests. No time to procrastinate.
And the venue adds another layer of complexity. It's a beautiful garden wedding. Lots of flowers, trees. Sounds lovely.
Sounds idyllic, but practically speaking, a garden imposes constraints. Big ones. You can't just wear anything. The setting itself dictates some of the choices.
Which brings us neatly to Emily's main focus, the dress. Finding the right dress. She calls it fun, but it is hard.
And that hard part is real. It's a different kind of pressure. The pressure to look right, to feel good, to celebrate your friend appropriately in a very public setting. It's the cognitive load of aesthetics and social expectation.
First hurdle, color. There's a clash of preferences. Emily likes blue.
But Maria, the bride, loves green. So Emily's trying to balance her own taste with, maybe fitting into the bride's vision or the overall wedding vibe.
And Paul, fresh off his diplomatic coffee mission, actually weighs in here with some decent advice, surprisingly.
Yeah, he switches hats from office mediator to, impromptu stylist. And his advice is good because it's personal. He connects the color choice back to Emily herself.
Your eyes are blue, he says. So, a long blue dress. It's perfect. He gives her a reason that's about her, not just about abstract color theory or the bride's preference.
It anchors the decision, makes it easier. So they settle on blue. And long for elegance, which suits a garden wedding, maybe.
Seems reasonable. But then comes the practical snag, the fit.
Ah, yes. Emily mentioned she's short, so long dresses are always too long for her. A really common practical problem.
But it's a problem that requires a specific technical fix. It introduces a new step, a new professional.
The tailor. And highlighting that word tailor, it makes a really important point, I think. Achieving that effortless elegance, or frankly, achieving most high-quality outcomes.
It takes extra work, extra planning.
Exactly. It often requires customization, professional help. You need to budget time and maybe money for that tailoring. You can't just buy the dress off the rack and assume it's perfect. You have to actively make it fit your reality, your body, the event.
So the dress needs a tailor. That's one logistical hurdle cleared.
Right.
But the garden venue throws up another one, right? The shoes.
Oh, the shoe problem. The eternal enemy of the garden party guest. The grass.
Haha, yeah. High heels are a definite no-go. The source is explicit. They'd sink into the lawn.
We've all seen it. The awkward heel aerating the lawn shuffle. The venue itself just vetoes that whole category of footwear.
The grass is like a silent party planner dictating the shoe choices.
Pretty much. So the solution has to be practical. Flat shoes. For comfort, for stability.
And she gets specific again.
Right.
Silver flat shoes to go with the long blue dress and a small silver bag to match. The ensemble is coming together.
It is. But notice the process. Identify constraint. Heels sink. Find solution. Flats. Refine solution. Silver flats. Matching bag. It's problem solving.
And she even knows when she'll solve it. Shopping at the big mall on Saturday. There's a plan.
This whole dress and shoes saga, it really shows that managing joy, planning for happiness, it requires just as much detailed thought and logistical footwork as managing that work report.
That's a great point. The stakes feel different. One is professional survival, the other is social celebration. But the process of managing the details is surprisingly similar.
Identify the constraints, plan the steps, allocate the resources, time for tailoring, time for shopping. Whether it's a Friday deadline or sinking heels, you need a plan.
A really compelling parallel. Okay, let's broaden out a bit now. Let's connect some of these threads, especially around communication. Section 4, connecting the dots. Coffee, apples, and weekend relief.
Right. We should probably touch on how Maria and Leo, the couple getting married, actually met. Because their story provides this lovely counterpoint to Paul's very calculated office intervention.
Ah, the origin story. Where did they meet?
The most mundane, yet somehow magical place. The supermarket.
No way. That's very rom-com.
Isn't it? Maria was buying red apples. Leo was buying oranges. Just everyday grocery shopping.
Okay, so far so normal. What happened?
A mini crisis. Maria dropped her apples everywhere, rolling across the aisle. A moment of, slight chaos and embarrassment.
Oh, dear. The dropped grocery moment.
But Leo stepped in, and unlike, say, Tom's potentially difficult interactions at the office, Leo's intervention was helpful and charming. He helped her pick up the apples.
Okay, good start. Knight in shining armor, supermarket aisle edition.
And then he delivered the line. Apparently, he looked at the recovered fruit and said, with a bit of wit, "Your apples are very red."
Uh-huh. Okay, that's pretty smooth. Understated. Observational humor.
It worked. Maria laughed. And that laughter, it just broke the ice, dissolved the awkwardness, created a genuine human connection right there between the apples and oranges.
And what happened next? How did they get from dropped apples to wedding?
Well, the immediate next step, according to the source, they had coffee.
Coffee again, it's everywhere in this story.
It really is. It's fascinating. For Paul, coffee and cookies is the planned tool of social repair, right? Trying to fix the tension between Tom and Sarah.
Yeah, it's a deliberate intervention.
But for Maria and Leo, coffee was the spontaneous catalyst. It was the bridge from that chance encounter, that funny moment with the apples, to something more, like a first date, basically.
So coffee serves both purposes. Fixing problems and starting romances. It's the universal signal for, let's talk like humans.
It seems like it functions that way, doesn't it? It's neutral territory, a low-stakes way to shift from just interacting to actually connecting. Planned or spontaneous, it helps people talk.
Okay, so communication, connection, often lubricated by coffee. Now let's look ahead. How are Paul and Emily planning to decompress after dealing with their respective stresses, the report, and the wedding planning?
Their weekend plans show a really stark contrast, and it reflects the different kinds of fatigue they're dealing with.
Let's start with Paul. Friday night, the report is hopefully done. How does he recover?
His plan is all about isolation and restoration. It's a direct response to the burnout from the numbers, the math he dislikes, and probably the social energy he spent managing Tom and Sarah.
So what does recovery look like for him?
It's very ritualistic. Step 1, go home. Step 2, get out of the work clothes immediately. Step 3, put on comfortable blue pajamas.
Blue pajamas, the uniform of surrender.
Totally. Step 4, sit on his big red sofa, alone.
Okay, serious decompression. What about food and entertainment?
Simple and easy. Order pepperoni pizza. Nothing fancy, requires minimal effort. And for entertainment, a funny movie, a comedy.
Seeking laughter. Actively trying to counteract the week's tension.
Exactly. He needs to flesh out the stress. And the final goal, sleep. Just deep, restorative sleep. It's a very deliberate strategy for solitary recharge after mandated stress.
Makes sense. Now, Emily, her big shopping trip is Saturday. What's her Saturday night plan?
It's the complete opposite of Paul's. Hers is totally social and celebratory. She's not recovering from stress in the same way. She's leaning into the joy she's been planning.
So no pajamas and pizza for her.
Definitely not. She's having dinner with Maria, the bride-to-be. They're going to Luigi's, this small Italian place that apparently has the best pasta.
Luigi's, okay. And the goal of the dinner?
Connection and anticipation, talking about the wedding, about Leo, about the new blue dress she's going to buy. It's about processing and amplifying the positive feelings, the joy she's been logisticsing for.
So Paul isolates to recover from work burnout. Emily connects to celebrate planned joy.
Precisely. It highlights that you need different kinds of recovery for different kinds of tired. Sometimes you need quiet solitude, sometimes you need shared excitement. You have to match the cure to the cause.
If Paul tried to do a big celebratory dinner, it might just drain him more after his week.
Probably. He needs that simple, predictable comfort. The sofa, the pizza. Emily, having navigated the fun but hard planning, needs to share that energy, that success.
Oh, wait, there's a little overlap, isn't there? Despite the totally different plans.
There is. The food choice. Paul's pizza, Emily's pasta at Luigi's.
It's both Italian.
Exactly. It's a small thing, but it points to those universal comfort rituals, right? Basic, satisfying food that makes you feel good, even if one is eating it alone in pajamas and the other is eating it out, celebrating.
Comfort food finds a way, whether you're stressed or celebrating.
It speaks to needing that predictability, that simple satisfaction when you're navigating complexity, whether it's a work deadline or a wedding plan.
Wow. We've really covered a lot of ground here. From 3-hour meetings and silent, tense offices, all the way to picking shoe colors and the social significance of dropped apples.
It's amazing what you can pull from one conversation.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Time for the outro. What are the main takeaways, the core lessons we've extracted from Emily and Paul's chat?
Okay, I think there are three main things that really stand out. First, the power of those small, deliberate acts of kindness at work. Paul's coffee and cookie plan.
Right. It wasn't just about being nice, it was strategic.
It was totally strategic. It showed that often the team's social health is actually the foundation for getting the technical stuff done. And simple things like sharing food can be incredibly effective tools for, lowering defenses and getting people talking again.
So micro-interventions matter. What's the second takeaway?
A absolute necessity of detailed logistical planning, even for things that are supposed to be fun, like a wedding.
Yeah, Emily's dress saga. It wasn't just pick a dress.
No way. It was identify the constraints, the bride's preference, the garden setting, her height, the sinking heels. Then find solutions, blue color, long style, a tailor, flat shoes, silver accessories, a shopping plan.
It shows that achieving success, whether it's meeting a deadline or looking elegant at a party, requires real foresight and problem solving. Joy needs logistics too.
It absolutely does. Okay, and the third key takeaway.
This seemed really important. The contrast in how Paul and Emily planned their recovery.
Yeah.
Paul needing isolation, Emily needing social connection.
Exactly. It highlights that burnout from mandatory work stress often needs solitude, predictability, comfort rituals like Paul's pizza and pajamas night, but relief from the stress of planning something good or just the need to process joy often needs shared experience like Emily's dinner with Maria.
So you need to diagnose your fatigue accurately to choose the right kind of rest or relief. Solitude versus connection.
Precisely. Knowing what kind of emotional or psychological recharge you actually need is crucial.
And thinking about the whole conversation. It started with Paul being tired, Emily being happy. But something shifted for Paul just by talking, didn't it?
It did. He actually says near the end, after explaining his coffee plan and everything, that he feels better, not so tired.
Just the act of communicating, of verbalizing the problem and his solution, seem to help.
It underlines the immediate power of friendly communication, doesn't it? Think about the big successes in the narrative. Maria and Leo meeting happened because Leo spoke up. Paul feels better after talking to Emily. His plan involves getting Tom and Sarah talking.
Communication seems to be the antidote to isolation, to stress, again and again, whether it's planned or spontaneous.
It really does seem to be the core mechanism for navigating both the problems and the joys.
Okay, so that brings us to our final thought, something for you, our listener, to chew on as you navigate your own weeks.
We saw this really stark contrast in the source material, didn't we? Between the energy needed for Paul's mandatory, boring numbers report.
And the energy needed for Emily's chosen, exciting garden wedding planning. Both took effort, focus, logistics.
So the question for you is this. How do you make sure that the necessary, maybe draining tasks in your life, your own numbers reports, whatever they may be, don't completely suck up all the energy, all the focus, all the planning capacity?
That you also need to put into planning and protecting your sources of joy and rest, your own garden moments.
Because remember Emily needing that tailor. Sometimes your joy, your rest, your connections, they need that same level of specific planning and custom fitting to make sure they actually work for you, that they're truly restorative.
That's maybe the ultimate logistical challenge, isn't it? Planning for joy with the same seriousness we plan for work.
It could be. Definitely something to think about.
That feels like the perfect place to leave it. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into, well, the surprisingly complex logistics of everyday life.
Yeah, we hope digging into Paul and Emily's week gives you some useful ways to think about your own deadlines and your own garden parties. Until next time.